Hell, I can get you towed by 3 o'clock this afternoon with nail polish.
That rock really tied the roof together, did it not?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. We are back, baby. Welcome to the... Hey, that's like the extended version that has the lyrics.
Yeah.
Boy, it's cold in here once again.
Yep.
Nippy
Only
fall.
your side.
Only my side. I didn't mention it last year. Jesus Christ. Last episode. It's not quite Halloween time. After this episode, we're going to have 5 episodes of Halloween horror movies, whatever. Teen Witch, I think.
Yes, which isn't really horror, but it is
though.
In a different way.
In a different way. Top that.
It's horror.
Got out all my Funko horror Funko Pops here for on display. Switched the posters out with some Argento and The Brood, one of my favorite Cronenberg movies. Getting in the Halloween spirit. I know we got a ways to go, but I'm one of those
spirit
freakos.
Is always around with me.
I was gonna say I would
Halloween is my Christmas.
I would have this up all year round. Actually, I switched it out a while ago, and we record early, so. And my wife was like, "Oh, I love it. Just keep those over there forever." It's like, all right, creepy posters will stay here. Yeah, they got moved back to the other side. Today we are doing one of my childhood favorites. That's right. Hey, by the way, this is this podcast really ties the room together. My name is Joseph Frisch. I'm James Koppel. We like to watch movies and talk about them. I'm a writer, director, musician, and James is a funny fellow.
And I'm the star.
He's the star. That's why he's sitting on the left side. Today we are doing... I've been circling this movie for a while, thinking about it. I don't know why I'm keeping it secret for the YouTube. This is right there. By the way, thanks for all the new subscribers, all the new likes. Appreciate you. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Intern Kyle, back with us again this week. Loved having you last time. He's back again.
Just off camera. We'll have to get him on camera one day.
Let's turn. I don't even think his mic's on. Hey, you over there?
Thanks for having me back.
Hey, there he is.
Glad to be back, fellas.
If anything we're talking about, if you look it up and you want to chime in. Your mic's hot. And unless you don't want a hot mic, but
it is.
It's
white fire hot.
It's white fire.
White fire.
It's been a week, and Koppel and I can't stop saying white fire.
Can't stop.
Won't stop. We've literally been on the phone to each other since the last episode, just going white fire.
Hang up.
We're near divorce.
3 a.m, I call. He's like, "Yeah, man, white fire." Hang up.
And I'm like, hey baby, guess what? Koppel just called me. You know what he said? White fire. She loves my wife. By the way, I want to take a second. That reminded me. There's a show on Max, HBO to me. HBO if you're nasty. F this Max business. And to our friends in Carbondale, WGBX 911, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in the midnight hour. We're happy to have you. We're all over the place these days. We've got a podcast. It's on the radio. We're on YouTube's. I get confused sometimes keeping my thoughts together.
Spotify,
the Apple thing.
For all you Brits out there, I don't know why they would be the Brits.
For all you English C blagger, it's hard to watch Deadwood on the reg and not say the C word between everything you say, because they use that a lot. We're doing Superman 4, Quest for Peace today. 1987, there's the ins and the outs, we like to call it. 1987, July 24th, right in the middle of summer this came out. Summer blockbuster.
I feel like I might be all over this because this is where my brain really formed.
87?
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, I understand that. Like I feel that way too. I feel like 87. Like I remember things from 87. I also remember things from 84 for some reason.
Yeah.
In a different level. Kyle, what's your year? Kyle's a little younger than us.
I was born in 87.
So no, Kyle's not.
I just remember being young. Like I remember my sister and my brothers. Like they started having lives around there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I started like.
So I was 87. I was 12.
I'd have been 10?
In July
10.
of 87, I was 12.
My son? Inside joke. Yeah, but I get that. So here we go. We'll see if you get this. July 24th. I'm not calling you, buddy. Just talking about them on 1987. It was a very good year. Number one song. Any ideas about number one song? I'll give you a clue. It's by those ladies that wanted to be Led Zeppelin, but they had more heart than Led Zeppelin did.
It's 87.
87. Heart.
I feel like would be around the Alone time.
You got it. Alone.
Yeah.
How do I know? Wait,
How do I get you alone?
That's right. Hey, it's
I
good
feel
harmony.
like, man, 87, July. What was I listening to on CIL? The Pepsi Top 5 Countdown.
I'll give you clues.
I feel like U2.
The next two. Get this.
U2 was on there,
The
maybe?
next two number songs, 1, 2, and 3, Madonna and Whitney Houston.
Yeah?
87, man. One of my favorite Whitney Houston songs. It's about dancing.
Yeah. Dance with somebody.
I want to dance with somebody. That's right. I want to feel the heat. David Byrne does a killer version
I
of
feel
that,
like
by the
U2's
way.
in there. 87?
I'm sure it was, probably just not on July 24th. The other one, Madonna, Who's That Girl?
Yeah.
Who's That Girl? Number one movie. We talked about one of the second, number two movie. We talked about it just a few weeks ago. Number one movie, bad movie, starring one of my least favorite people that somehow people thought he was funny. He's not funny. And then America's Dad is the other guy in this movie.
So,
The policemen,
yeah.
detectives.
So, I feel like it's Beverly Hills.
In a
87.
reboot.
87 would be Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Probably would be, but this is a reboot of a television show starring somebody I despise who makes vodka, who probably licked Carrie Fisher's butthole.
Wow.
One of the greatest script doctors in Hollywood.
Boy, was I
ever.
off.
And America's Dad. It is a movie called Dragnet with Tommy Hanks, which I love, America's Dad, and what's his name? I'm not even going to justify. He's like Voldemort to me. I'm not even. He shall remain nameless, Mr. Aykroyd. By the way, we were watching watching some Harry Potter the other day, and it was Voldemort. It's just like the first time Voldemort appears, right? And he's there, and I'm like, boy, it would be this. They should have used this opportunity to cut to the twins, and one of them be like Voldemort, more like Baltimore. Just ruin the movie.
Right.
All tension gone. The villain that they've been waiting for 5 movies shows up.
It's
There
just
he
a-
is.
It's just a bad joke from there on.
We waited.
You're
We
scary,
waited
but you're bald.
We waited 7 years for this moment. 5 movies.
Yes.
And the response from the Weasley twins or whatever is Voldemort, more like Baltimore. And once it was in my head, I couldn't stop thinking about it, and it ruined the movie for me. The rest of the movie, I just kept calling him Baltimore.
Yeah.
It took away his power.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do. By the way, this movie, Gene Hackman is essentially playing Trump. And that's what we got
Yes.
to do. We got to
Yes.
take away his power. Just like they took away his power, we're
Send
taking away
him
his
to
power because he's
prison.
weird.
Yeah.
He's freaking weird.
Yeah.
So let's just.
How are you on the Trump train?
Intern Kyle, he's younger. Let's see here.
How am I?
Yeah.
I don't believe I am on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wondering. You know.
Checking it out. I did just tell him a moment ago that I helped raise $190,000 for Kamala.
Kamala.
She's not even black. I'm the best black president, better than Lincoln. I've done more for the blacks than anybody. I mean, look at my record. I love the blacks. If I finally got my Trump down,
Yeah.
it's not anything like him. It's just a voice.
Yeah. It's kind of. You get it though. You get it.
All I gotta do is say is horrible, misogynistic,
I listen to Salt and
bigoted,
Pepper.
racist things. Yeah. I listen to House of Pain.
Eminem. I love the blacks.
I love the black music. I listen to Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice. Snow. He's the informer.
I don't like snow though. I don't like informers. Rats. Informer. How much you take a bucket?
I lick it, boom, boom, down. Something like that.
He's referring to Stormy Daniels.
Come with a nice young lady.
I never even met her. Her favorite show, Law and Order. Guess what? One of the episodes, a lady got raped in the dressing room. Where'd she get that idea from? Maybe one of the 1,500 episodes of Law and Order where they've used every single conceivable crime possible.
They just follow Trump around, and that's how they film Law and Order. Like they just, that's a great idea for a
bang bang. It says based on a true story. It's in this parentheses. Donald Trump. Something he did. He's always the third guy they go talk to.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just a dock worker.
I'm a carpenter. I build buildings.
He worked here for a couple of months. You know, seemed like a real loser to me. Just a fat loser. He wasn't married. Weird. Real.
No children. That was I almost didn't hire him because he didn't have children.
He didn't have children, which I just think's odd. You should have children, and you should want to bang them.
Yeah.
If you have an
pretty much you've nailed Trump now.
Listen, Detective Brasco. What was his name? Lenny Brasco, something like that.
Lenny Bruce.
If you have a hot daughter, it's your job as a father to try to want to bang her.
At least talk about it.
You want to talk about how she's so hot that if she wasn't your daughter, even though there's a 60-year age.
What do you have in common with your father? Golf, probably business. What do you have in common with your father? And then what do you have in common with your daughter? Sex.
I tell you what, she's unbelievably attractive. I've never listened to her talk. She's forbidden to make eye contact, but she's one hot piece of ass.
She's got her mother's legs. The upper part I haven't seen yet, but I assume it's just like her mother's also. Like, why does he get
She
off
was
talking
swimming
like
in the pool the other day, and I tried to take off her towel, much like a movie I love called White Fire.
Also based on my life. That's how I got my
Nobody
power.
knows that I was also a Russian spy child named Bo and Ingrid. I wanted to bang my hot sister. Give me that sister juice.
No.
I'm sounding more and more like Skeletor.
Yes,
it's getting. It's getting. Should I bring up Carrie Fisher yet again?
No. I feel like we've damaged our views.
Oh yeah. Give me that juice. I just want cranberry
The juice, cranberry. Good for the kidneys.
I am on my period.
Good for the kidneys. Cranberry.
I'm referencing the great scene from The Departed with Leo DiCaprio, on which the fella asks him if
He's got a British accent in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brit. Just like, what do you think about...
Britney Spears?
Yeah.
She's going a little off the rails.
What do you think about... Once she got conservatorship back to herself, she's doing fine.
I feel like she's really pulled her life together.
I think she's doing a lot better.
Yeah.
She's much like Mariel Hemingway. I was very concerned when I saw Mariel Hemingway. So I haven't gotten... Jesus Christ. It's one of those episodes.
Yeah.
Mariel Hemingway, she's in this movie, and I was very quickly like, oh, Christ. Did she kill herself? So it's like, goes all the Hemingway. Intern Kyle, could you see how many Hemingways killed themselves? I'm a huge Hemingway fan. People that maybe have been listening for a long time. I often reference Hemingway. He's probably the most well-read. How do I put that? He's the author that I am probably most familiar with and most well-read of. I love Hemingway. I fell in love with Hemingway with Old Man and the Sea.
Yeah, great book. I
continued.
We should do that movie.
I own the movie. It's right here somewhere.
I mean, we should film it.
Oh, yeah. Remake it with you and I and Red
just
Lake.
the pond out back.
Catching bass.
in my bass boat. Just like on the...
You know what, though? You said that stupidly. That's not a bad idea. Like, seriously, though, the same story.
We could have Chef as the old man.
Except we catch a, tremendous fish of some sort.
Yeah.
And it gets pecked away by the time we get... You can literally
a snapping turtle. It's just catfish.
It's a catfish. Yeah.
And it gets pecked away by a snapping turtle.
By snapping turtle, by bluegill.
Rob could play the cat, or Dr. Bob could play the catfish.
Yeah.
We could just let snapping turtles eat away at him the whole movie.
Kyle's a fine actor, by the way, is in my movie.
Yeah.
He could play a snapping turtle, I think, pretty well.
Yeah.
I could do this. It's
just taking huge
members.
bites.
Seven members of the Hemingway family
Holy
have
mackerel.
killed themselves. Jesus Christ. I talk about it a lot, but but that's a
lot, dude.
a heavy number.
Yeah. It's a shame that's not the same numbers for the Trump family. What? Oh no, another one. What a shame.
Oh no, Donnie Jr. Too much cocaine.
Not Junior.
Speaking of
Cocaine,
could you
Superman 4.
Could you look this up? Jeez, yeah, you're not lying. Speaking of cocaine, Superman 4, made by our favorite boys,
Cannon.
the Cannon Film Group. God bless it. Have you watched Electric Boogaloo yet? The Cannon story?
No.
Please watch it.
I just like to stick to Electric Boogaloo, dude.
It's on Prime, and it's called Electric Boogaloo: The Rise and Fall of Cannon, something like that.
Yeah.
It's so worth a watch because
I don't feel like Turbo Nose owners are in that version, though.
oh no,
Yeah,
no, they're not. It's such a good watch though, just to see like how they operated. This is so. I watched part 3 because I was torn. I was like, part 3 is also bad.
Rip torn?
Yes, I was rip torn all about it, and I was like, "Bring me this master of beasts." Because part 3 is also awful. It's got Richard Pryor in it.
Yeah.
People did not like it.
Right.
It didn't do well at the box office.
I feel like that was the beginning of the downfall of Richard Pryor.
Yes, it was.
Like he was
After that, he started showing up in any movie that they would let him in.
Right.
He was in. I think that was when he was on the drugs. Stay off the drugs, kids, unless they're good. If they're good, keep on them. I didn't finish number one show. I didn't even finish another number one movie. Full Metal Jacket was number
Full Metal
2.
Jacket.
We discussed. I like the first
no
part
Beverly
of it.
Hills Cop 2? 87 July? I feel like
Well, it might have been number 3, but
Yeah.
number one show. It's a good one. The Golden Girl.
Golden Girl, love them.
Yeah, we got Chris Reeve.
Angina.
Angina. I love the old slut. So Sophia.
Yeah.
Sophia, she was a real whore. I met her in a
Never had
dressing
any
room
relations. Never even met her.
Never met her. She was in a dressing room once. Blanche came in, forced my hand. Chris Reeves.
Yeah.
God damn it. It's Chris Reeve.
Reeve.
I keep calling him Reeves.
Yeah.
That's the original guy that killed himself. This movie is marred in suicide. Can you look up, Kyle? Did Margot Kidder, the star of Superman, did she also kill herself? I think she did.
She had a break. I know she had a real bad mental breakdown and then came back.
Yes, as did I.
Yeah.
After watching this movie. After I came. All right, Chris Reeve. Chris Reeve.
Cranberry juice. Good
We
for the
know
kidneys.
Chris Reeve. Actually, I had a trailer for a movie with Chris Reeve called Street Smart. You know that movie? It's a Cannon movie.
Chris Reeve is Beeve, right?
Yes, that's right. I used to buy drugs from him when I was in high school. No, that's a joke.
Different Beeve.
So the guy that plays Superman's nemesis in this movie, we haven't even started talking about this movie, is named Mark Pillow. Guess what? We share a birthday.
Yeah?
April 14th, me and Mark Pillow, which I found out was the My Pillow's dad. No, I'm just kidding.
I was actually gonna bring that into it, but
He was in one other movie called Wise Guy. I think he was just a bodybuilder.
wise guy.
Man, wise guy, eh? And then, of course, Gene Hackman. For real? I love, so De Niro, DiCaprio, Pacino. Those are kind of my triad of like...
Right below that's Hackman.
No.
I misread the
Hackman,
vibe.
honest to God, is probably better than all of them.
Yeah.
I think he... Oh,
Gee.
Jesus Christ. I think he... Sorry.
That's the earth
Christians.
saying no.
No. He might be my favorite actor of all time. If I see Gene Hackman in a thing, I don't care how bad the thing is, I will watch it because Gene Hackman's in it. Because I know, even if the script is horrible, I would watch Gene Hackman just sit and have a drink and read the newspaper.
See, I'm kind of that way about Ducky that's in this movie. What's his name?
Ducky, John Cryer.
John Cryer, yeah.
I was convinced that John Cryer had this huge movie career because he was Ducky. And John Hughes has it. I knew it was coming. I knew it. I could feel it in my bones. It was coming. We don't have any middle.
We're pretty well done with this movie though by now. So
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you ever get your mouse upside down? It blows my mind. Every time.
or as Ducky would say, I can't even do it.
He sounds like Snake.
He does.
He sounds like Snake from The Simpsons, but higher pitched. Wow, dude, this rocks. He says this rocks.
Good thing I brought my drums.
Hey, Uncle Lex. John Cryer. I was like, hey, he had a great career in movies. He really didn't.
No.
John Hughes is huge in this house, so we were like, oh, he's Ducky. He obviously had a great career.
He did all right.
He had a TV career.
There was
He had
there was a
TV career.
short span of movies, but
Yeah. Did you figure out that Margot Kidder? Did she kill herself?
Her death was the result of self-inflicted drug and alcohol overdose.
so pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
But did she have fun?
I feel like that's how the newsreel about
Like-
myself is going to read eventually.
I was going to say, because that might not be suicide. If you were just having so much fun that you died, is that really suicide?
yeah,
I mean, I know it's by your own hand.
you're playing the long game in the
And it-
suicide.
Yeah, it is the way I plan to go. Just to let everybody know. Most of my friends know. It is a valuable option for a reason. But not to bring the show down,
Probably
I'm going to take the Margot Kidder Highway out of this place, if you know what I'm saying.
I'll probably do the Lane Staley version. It'd probably
Oh, yeah?
it'd probably have something to do with heron. If I
Heroin, or if you're, no offense, if you're black, heron.
yeah. Oh, is that
Did I just, oh God, it just got so quiet here. I'll sit in the silence. I
I just thought that's what people called it.
I made the
Heron.
joke the other day. There's a movie on HBO called The Boy and the Heron. And my wife was like, oh, my wife said, the boy, do you know anything about The Boy and the Heron? I said, yeah, I know black people pronounce it The Boy and the Heron. More silence.
Clean up the table real quick.
Listen,
Cran-
has not every black
cranberry
person you've
juice.
ever known, when they referenced heroin, said heron instead of heroin?
I'm gonna be honest.
Black. Hey, I'm honestly
not
asking.
dis-
I'm
I've-
not. Right,
I've not had a lot of
I don't have a
discussions.
racist bone in my body, but the black friends I've had, when heroin has came up, they do not say it's heroin. They say it's heron.
Heron. I've only had one conversation with.
Well,
Yeah.
you see now.
Yeah. About I don't have many conversations
heron?
about heron
With black.
with anyone, but
I guess that's just me.
when I do,
I guess I'm the weirdo. They also think white people smell like dogs a lot of time.
well, probably because we have
Wet
a lot of
dogs.
dogs.
I've heard that.
And they're
It's
scared of 'em.
is that true? It's because they've been in the water. We're digging a hole.
The dogs have been in the water. That's why
Because
we
the
smell like
dogs
wet
have been in the water.
Yes.
Because they're foul. All right. See, we haven't even gotten to this movie. We're over the halfway point.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
The score started,
Yeah.
and I was like, is this a new score, or are they just reusing
I knew-
the old Superman score?
As soon as the special effects started, I remembered
On the
a
credits.
lot. I remembered a lot about this
I
movie.
literally wrote down the credits are awful.
God.
They
There's
really let you know immediately
Yeah,
that you are
what you're
in
in
for
for.
a bad movie. They're like, hey, we couldn't even figure out how to do the credits.
No.
Let's get into this thing.
Yeah.
Superman.
Let's do it.
It starts with some Russian cosmonauts.
You ever seen this movie?
I seen it when I was yeah. I saw it when I was a child, and I kind of put it and Superman 3 together in one big ball.
Yeah. And yeah.
It starts off with some Russian cosmonauts. They're not astronauts. y'all.
singing some Sinatra.
Singing some Sinatra. Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
One of
The
them.
guy that's spacewalking is singing Sinatra.
Oh, okay. And I also wrote down, did gravity steal their entire plot from this movie? It's about a space station who gets hit by another space station.
Yeah. Or I was thinking it's
satellite
like
or
a
something.
rocket that is jettisoned.
Yes. Yeah. It gets hit. It starts spinning out of control and moving. And everybody inside starts flying around, which I was like, wait a minute. Superman saves the day by stopping it from spinning.
Right, which has also stopped its orbit speed.
Yes. Everyone is there's so I guess what I'm saying is if Neely Mike Tyson was here, he would tell me that this is there's no gravity up there.
There's a lot. Okay, there's a lot. We have a
It's
lot.
always moving. The thing is always moving at like 100 some miles an hour. It's always moving. There's no gravity. It doesn't affect them. So if it was spinning, it wouldn't matter to them at all.
Right.
But yet
It would just be spinning around them.
Yeah, but it would.
They would be still.
They would. What I'm saying is, it wouldn't be that abnormal from what's normally happening.
Right.
They are traveling at crazy speeds,
Yeah, it's good.
and they're fine. Superman comes and stops it.
What
and
is
they're
an
like,
orbital
"Oh."
speed that keeps things in orbit?
It's like 150, right?
150,000
Oh no, Jesus, we can't go that fast.
in space. Yeah.
I mean, when I was in college,
I don't know how fast does the Earth rotate. 86,000 miles an hour, something like that, or is that how?
if you know that number off the top of your head, you're a smarter man than I. And listen, nobody knows Earth robot. Nobody knows Earth
We need to
rotation.
know two things from you:
Earth rotation, like me.
the speed the Earth rotates, which I feel like is.
Superman saves these son of a bitches, and he flies back to the farm. We see his farm. I do like it's the same
Yeah,
farm. that's
Smallville.
Smallville. It's the
Yeah.
same farm that's always there. Or not that, but they found a farm that was like dead on.
Pretty much.
I really like to see it. There's a joke about the crib is outside.
Yeah.
It's got a big crack in it, and the guy's like, "Your dad was a real joker. He told me old Clark had a nightmare and kicked the crib. It's got a big crack in it." He's like, "Oh yeah, Dad was a joker." And then he does a classic Superman thing of like, "Let's."
It should have been a cut back to where he was the Joker. That should have been part of it. But, all right.
He
good.
was a joker, and we cut back to him. And he's like, "Why so serious?" He's cutting his mom's face up. Nobody knows. Baby Crib Clark. He does a little baseball thing. They play some baseball. Clark, of course,
misses.
he's the biggest klutz when he's Clark, and
Yeah.
misses, spins, almost hurts his back. I don't know how many times he plays that card. Does Clark need to be this much of a klutz? Did he think this was like, this was what people like to see in the movie?
Right.
Because it doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
It's not funny. It's not charming. There's nothing about it.
But it's kind of how the comic book is.
He just plays it so bad.
Yeah.
Like later when, we'll get to it. We'll cut to, he doesn't want to sell the farm. That's the only scene for this
To
movie.
anyone that doesn't want to farm.
That doesn't want to farm.
He doesn't want Big Pharma to
He's
come
a
in
good
and
guy.
Big Pharma.
Superman's a good guy. We get it. We get it.
Just want someone to come in who wants to farm.
Then we get Trump shows up, played by the greatest actor of all time, Gene Hackman. What's Hackman been? You can bring up Hackman's resume, Kyle? Are you still looking up? You looking up something for the last question?
Let's go to Hackman.
Intern Kyle was so happy to have him. I love it.
I feel like Kyle's only answering your questions.
He's been told that a conversation with him before.
What's the orbital speed you need to?
Total speed of the ISS, right?
Yeah.
17,000 miles per hour.
Jeez, Louiso.
So I was only off by 100 and
You're close. Well,
something
Price is
thousand
right.
miles an hour.
I won Price is Right.
Yeah, I was way over.
But still, I did not.
You were like
expect
150
that.
miles
I was
an hour?
way 100.
Yeah.
150 is what I
You
guessed.
were the one that was like $1 on the Price is Right,
$1, Drew.
or Bob.
I can't really remember that. Hackman. He's whistling Mozart. He's in a chain gang in prison. I love seeing these chain gang. He's in
Yeah.
a pit just breaking rocks for no reason.
Yeah.
Back when they used to make prisoners work.
Hard labor.
Hard labor, not making license plates and manufacturing for America like
That's
they do
medium
today.
security stuff there.
Yep, couple guards standing there. Here comes our buddy Ducky, John Cryer, which we mentioned earlier.
Just drives right up.
Drives right up. Nobody stops him. In the stupidest
It is
car
rock quarry.
you've ever seen. He's got horns. It looks like horns all over the car.
But there's speakers in it.
But there's speakers. He calls it a Sense Around 100s.
But he's got a Walkman on.
But he's got.
He's not really listening to. They're like, man, these are awesome speakers.
Where is he? Hold on, I got a picture of him here somewhere. No.
There he is. There he is.
Ducky. He has these horns. The cops are like, he's like, well, how the hell do I get to Sioux City or something like that? And the cops are like, you're so far off.
You're on the other side of the state.
Boy,
is that a cat on his shirt?
He's got a very Ferris Bueller. It is. He's got eyes. It's a very Ferris Bueller, I thought, looking jacket.
Yeah.
He's like, you boys never seen one of these? Climb on in. Of course, these dumb cops, ACAB, they climb right in. They're like, oh, yeah, this is great. And he's like, you never seen a since around 100? And then he shuts the top on them, windows. Lex is like, Gene Hackman's talking along with him. They then lock them in the car. The car catapults. I was like, why would you go to that much trouble to make your car look that cool if it's just going to be destroyed? That's
how did the guards not die in that? It's a convertible top.
Exactly right. It flips
lands
over
on its top.
On its top. Lex Luthor goes like this. Oh, like it's gross to him. Like
and then they climb up.
Then they climb up though after the scene's over, just to let you know they didn't die.
They're fine.
They're
It's a
fine.
Superman movie. People can't die.
Lex Luthor instantly. This is why I keep calling him Trump. He instantly starts talking about what a genius he is.
Yep.
I'm a genius. I'm going to create life itself. Nobody could do the things I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to get out of here, boys. I'm a genius like myself. Like he just keeps referencing himself as a genius.
Yep.
I don't think the people that made this movie ever watched a Superman movie or read a Superman comic.
Or figured out what a genius was.
Or what a genius was. Because according to them, which I guess Trump watched this movie, apparently a genius just keeps talking about how genius they are.
Yeah.
They don't ever actually tell you any plans or
Yeah.
do anything. They just keep saying about how genius they are.
Yeah.
And then they take credit for other people's science.
Yep. That's
We get a scene with a subway where Clark's late. He gets locked out of the stupid subway, and then he has to stop it. What's up with the subway? I don't get the subway. They got a live track down there. Throughout movies and my entire life, it was like if you fall on that subway, sometimes
Third rail.
It's the third rail. If you hit that third rail,
You're done.
You're donezo. Is that right?
Yep.
Superman like grounds it out, right? He like puts his foot there. He's like, take this third rail.
Yeah.
And then he stops the subway. I don't even understand what happened there. To be honest with you, I just like.
so the lead. Do you want to know or do you?
No, I don't care.
Okay.
Cut to the next.
I know.
Cut to the next scene. I mean, you
guy
can tell me-
driving
Sure.
the guy driving it had a heart attack.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, and so
was
it was out of
sounds
control.
serious.
Like he went forward and hit the.
That sounds serious. Okay. So this is when we get the new owner of the Daily Planet. Somebody has bought the Daily Planet, and here we get introduced to Mariel
To another
Hemingway.
Trump,
To Mariel, yes, to another Trump and his daughter Mariel Hemingway.
Ivanka,
And
Ivana.
her glasses. This movie's full of glasses.
Yeah,
Her glasses take up.
3/4 of the screen. I don't know.
I was gonna say 2/3 of her face.
Yeah.
I wish I had pictures of her and her glasses. They're the most unattractive, worst glasses I've ever seen. Now,
Very akin to Clark's,
it's bright in here. They're very akin to Clark's, but
Which-
they're on her.
which they go
I
with.
swear to God, they're like this.
Yeah, they're well. It's very 80s. I mean, 80s were the time of big everything. Big lumps of coke. Big lumps of big.
How much coke was done on this movie? I didn't even look up the director of this movie. That's how much I cared about this. Like the behind the scenes of it.
Right.
So there's this big subway. We get Hemingway glasses. They're taking over the newspaper. They're buying it out. They don't care about the truth. They just want ratings. They just want people to buy the newspaper.
They just want to sell.
Instantly, Mariel Hemingway has a thing for Clark Kent and Lois, even though she's all about Superman. I was getting really annoyed by Lois. Was you not just annoyed the crap out of by Lois Lane in this movie?
Yes.
She annoyed me to such an extent. I
she
was like,
is
just drop her, Superman.
57
Drop her.
years old,
Yeah.
and Clark and Superman are mid 20s, early 30s. Mm-hmm. The love line here is a little askew. Not that older
I mean,
women
that's
don't go for
fine.
younger men, but just I don't feel like Lois Lane in any other version of Superman is that much older than everyone else. I
No,
feel like
it's
she's
weird.
Yeah.
And the way she looks at Superman, she just got those like F me. As soon as Superman shows up,
There is a shot.
she is just like, oh, she's so wet. As soon as Superman shows up, she's like, oh.
There's a shot of Christopher Reeve in the Superman outfit in this movie that is, you can't not notice the bulge in his pants, in his tights.
There's a couple bolts.
I was like, dude, first of all, congratulations on your genetics. Unless it was
I think he just has those pants pulled up so high.
but there was a large bulge. It was big.
Well, that's why she keeps giving him those FM.
But I've never
eyes.
noticed it in any other Superman movie. So is there normally something in his pants that kind of block that?
Might be because old Hemingway was on the set, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, and did he forget it in this scene that kind of goes over and blocks the actual bulge? I don't know, but it was so there, and I was like, whoa.
It's canon. They didn't cover it up. They didn't have a jock or anything to like cover it to make its own bulge.
I think there were two scenes. Anyway,
there was a scene where you see pretty close up his S on the back of his cape. Mm-hmm. My wife is a sewist.
my wife. Not sure when that quit, but I'll keep it going.
Go back to my point from earlier, and I was just like, Jesus, look how that's sewed on the cape. It was
I think it was ironed on.
I was like,
it was an iron on.
I could literally sew better. It looked so
terrible.
ragged. The my wife joke. There's a show on HBO on Max, HBO if you're nasty, called Kite Man. Hell yeah. And it is fall down hilarious. It takes place in the DC universe. It is filthy beyond filthy. It's about a lesser known criminal in the DC universe named Kite Man. Hell yeah. And literally the introduction to, I remember, because the introduction to Kite Man is, they're like, we need a blah, blah, blah criminal to do this. And he's like, I'll do it, And they're like, who are you? And he's like, it's me, Kite Man. Like, who? Like, Kite
Kind of
Man.
like Ant-Man. That's what
He's like, Kite Man, He tells his powers. And then the second thing he says is, do a killer Borat impression? My wife. I was like, I'm on board. That, and they're having a meeting of super villains about their next plan. And Bane's on there. And he's like, do you have a plan to make the crumbs at the bottom of the chip bag into more chips so you don't have to get crumbs all over your fingers? It's like, no. He's like, that's a problem. Bane ends up being buddies with Kite Man because he gets kicked out of the league.
That's awesome.
Anyway, Hemingway's there. She's like, hey, Clark. Oh, we get Hackman and Ducky. They're hiding behind a plant because Superman has donated a hair to this museum. One hair is holding this giant 1,000-pound weight.
1,000-pound ball.
Hackman and Ducky come in there. They're hiding behind a plant. Why are you hiding?
Yeah, just be part of the.
Just be part of the. Be walking around.
Right.
They're drawing more attention. Genius. He's a genius. He walks over. He breaks the glass. He cuts the hair. Like, all right. Next scene, Hemingway is sprawled out on her desk.
Yeah.
She's like laying up on her desk.
Trying to figure out how to look sexy. She hits it like 2 or 3 poses. Goes with the worst one.
Clark's coming in. She's like, this one will work. This awkward pose. Looks like I'm going to fall off my desk at any moment.
Looks like she should be on top of a grand piano, like singing
you're right.
Jazz or blues.
Yes. Then we get
Same thing,
the
jazz and
crux.
blues.
This is where the movie actually starts, y'all. He gets a letter from Jeremy. Jeremy sends a letter to Superman, which somehow gets to Lois Lane.
He finally spoke in class.
I was going to make the joke because it cuts to him in school. You get this shot to school, and Jeremy is looking out the window.
Looking out the window.
And she was like, Jeremy, what are you thinking? And he turns, and Jeremy's like, I just think whatever. His thing is like Superman.
We should write a letter to Superman. He can fix this.
He can fix it. Superman.
Finally, Jeremy spoke.
And I made the exact same joke, probably the exact same time. I was like, this is where Pearl Jam got the song.
And then when Superman told Jeremy to drop dead, that's when he flipped. That's when he flipped. Yep.
Yes, Jeremy says, why doesn't Superman get all the nuclear weapons and get rid of them? And this affects Clark Kent. He takes it to heart,
Well,
man.
not so much Clark, but Superman.
Well, Superman.
Yeah. Two different people.
And then it goes to the kid, and they're like, he's in this press conference. They're like, what do you got to say? And he's like, I just wish Superman would have did it. And then the newspaper comes out. It says, Superman tells kid to drop dead. And Superman and Clark Kent, they are so upset.
Yeah.
He's just walking around.
In fact, he
moping.
paces. He's so upset.
He goes. Now this is. He goes. He tells Lois Lane, or somebody. He's talking to somebody, and he says, "I can't interfere." It's like, what the? Are you talking? All you do is interfere. What
Right.
do you mean you can't interfere? He's
So-
like, I can't gather up all the nuclear.
So he
weapons.
goes back to the farm.
Yeah.
Somehow talks with
Talks to his mom. I was like, Marlon
And-
Brando is not available anymore.
right. Talks to his mom and some of the I guess government from Krypton.
It's not explained. There's
No.
people from Krypton we've never seen before show
No.
up in like hologram form.
I'm not sure how he's talking with them. I didn't. There's a lot of things, a lot of ins and outs
This
there.
is a lot of ins and outs. This has never happened before in a Superman movie. Now
There's a lot of things that happen in this movie that have never happened.
He talks to his dad a lot
Yeah.
in the other Superman movies, but they're like recordings of his dad.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're not. He's not like, "Hey, Dad, I need
Yeah.
help," and he's like, "What's the matter?"
There's not a live Q&A.
No, they're not. They're not talking to each other.
Yeah. This is weird.
He says he can't interfere. It just really bothered me. I was like, "Oh, if you can't interfere, why have you done anything?"
Yeah. So he sped and went backwards.
right.
He reversed the
He
earth and-
interfered.
so he could save Lois out of the earthquake in a previous Superman movie.
Now we get one of the worst scenes of all time. Mariel Hemingway has asked Clark out. He said yes somehow because she just thinks his nerdy buffoonness is
Sexy.
sexy. The whole time Lois is like, Clark's not gonna like you. She's like, every guy likes me. I'm rich. I'm like, that's no. Men are not
It's the only reason why I would date a Trump.
because they're rich.
Yeah.
They're not really rich though.
So there's only one Trump available to date that would be in my wheelhouse, and that would be what?
Barron.
He's getting ready to be too old. So would be Ivanka.
What are you, Dan Soder?
Ivanka. She's the young daughter.
I have
she's
no idea.
Not the young daughter, but she's the daughter.
She's the one Trump wants to bang.
Yeah, that girl.
Lois and Clark. This is the part that drove me
Didn't
crazy.
they go across the United States?
They did.
Yeah.
Until the
Made the map.
Native American broke them up. Camped right over here.
on the Lois and Clark trail.
Lois and Clark Trail.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Frakes is convinced that they did stay on Bald Hill.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you?
Or not Bald Hill.
Knob Hill.
Is it Knob Hill? There's a house. They got a Trump sign in their yard. On top of the hill in Waltonville.
Beautiful.
Whatever that hill is. That cemetery is
It's
named
Knob.
after.
Yeah, it's Knob Creek. It's Knob Hill.
Knob Hill.
Knob Creek. It's
Knob Creek's a bourbon.
Bourbon.
Jeremy spoke out. We need to call Rob and say we found out. Superman.
Sorry. Well, this episode is terrible.
Now here comes this part. This drove me absolutely insane. This was a plot of like every 80s sitcom you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Clark has a date with Hemingway, and Superman has a date with Lois Lane, and it's a double date, y'all. You ever been in this predicament, Kyle?
Yeah, 7 times. Right?
Where you had 2 dates with one woman?
Yep.
And it was also a double date. And the whole thing, it's so stupid. But here's where it starts that blew my mind. Clark's having some issues, right? Lois is talking to him. He's like, I want some fresh air. They go out on the balcony. Clark commits suicide. He walks to the edge of the building, falls off.
With her.
With her.
So
She's like, Clark, don't do it.
it's a murder suicide.
It's not that bad. Don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
Falls off with him. He disappears somehow. Superman swoops in, grabs her. She never says boo about Clark Kent again.
Right.
Superman grabs her, and she's just like, oh, you gonna bang me? Your best friend just committed suicide.
Okay, this is where a lot of trouble with the plot come in for me. Just because Superman, she's flying with Superman, does not mean that she can fly herself.
That she can be fly or be weightless.
Does not mean that when they fly over freezing areas that she is
fine.
warm. It does not mean, and this comes into play later too, that when they go to space, that she doesn't
breathe.
There's a lot. There's a lot of problems here. But so she's just flying. He's just holding her hand.
He's holding her hand. Like
and she's flying next to him. Like
I guess I get it. He's so strong. He can balance
but her body should be like falling.
Yes,
and limp.
She should be like, oh God, you got to hold my finger.
Yeah, she should be dangling from underneath him.
Yeah, there's no
not flying alongside him.
The core strength it would take.
Oh Jesus!
To be able to like Tom Cruise your way
I bet
through
she's
that.
been doing planks preparing for this moment.
She was, well, I almost went down the stairs. Never mind. She flies her all over the frickin' world.
Yeah.
Never asks about Clark, who just killed himself. Harry Carey.
Hey, did he make it? Yeah.
Nothing. Doesn't. Hey, did you save Clark, by the way? Nothing. She's just like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
I want that super D inside
N-A.
me. N-A. Wait.
And I'm talking about the strand of hair.
Yes.
Yes, that's what she's talking about.
I say, he kisses her, which is another trope from another Superman movie. And she forgets everything that just happened.
Yeah.
Clark comes out looking good in his white coat. And he's like, hey, we're going to be late. She's like, oh, that's right. Let's go. Doesn't mention anything about suicide.
Yeah, I guess so. They should at least have played up the fact that he is mind melded something to make her forget.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think they literally were like, this happened in another one. Let's just do it.
Which instantly...
Because it also... Go ahead.
Makes me think, does Superman do this all the time? Do they regularly have sex and then he makes her forget and then...
I did cross my mind.
Yeah.
I thought, what else is he mind wiping her about?
And the rest of the world. Is he actually the villain? And he's just making us think that he's the Superman, and then he's the good guy.
While we watched this, I said, I thought about something that occurred to me a long time ago. Was I want to see a Superman story that's like 800 years in the future, and he's just gone through generations of people he cared about dying, and he's just an old man.
He's so jaded.
He's become like a jaded supervillain, essentially, and it's kind of taken over the world. Yeah. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, we should do that movie.
We should do that movie.
Every episode, I say that at least once.
Superman goes.
One of these times it'll stick, and we'll do it.
He gets Jeremy. He walks through town. Jeremy finally speaks. He has a big speech. Lois, did you notice that? So he flew Lois around. The whole time I was like, no woman wants to be flown around the world before they have to go to a ball. Because their hair's going to be...
amok.
Insane.
Yeah.
And her hair looked like such a mess. God damn it, it looked horrible.
Which kind of fits her.
It was like long, and then there was like a weird cut above it, feathered above the longness. Mm-hmm. When she gets to the thing, she's got an entire new haircut and permanent. She's got a perm, man. She's got it's a bob.
Yeah.
She's literally got a bob that's curly. When she gets there, it's like, did Superman do that for you
They
too?
must have flown through some humidity.
That's what happens when Superman finger blasts you.
Yep. It is. Probably is.
Hair curls.
Probably is. Or when Nuclear Man
Lois,
does.
I can make you reach orgasm in only 5 seconds. Oh, my hair.
Orgasm? I can get you an orgasm by 2 o'clock. With polish.
I did at one point, if I remember, it's in my notes somewhere, was would Mr. T have been better?
That's Lois Lane. Mr. T is Lois Lane.
Oh, Superman.
Kiss me, fool.
I got some duck in there cooking for you with some tartar and some lambs.
You'll love it.
In case for afterwards. I mean later.
Fly me around, fool.
Fly me around. Wait a minute. Superman,
This is romantic as all hell.
I'm afraid of heights, Superman. Don't fly me.
Don't fly, man.
Oh, no, I passed out.
Kiss me, big lug. Mr. T should be in every movie.
I told you not to fly me, and I'm mad at you, but I still want to kiss you because you're so charming. I love you, Superman.
And you got that gold S on your back, which I would like on my necklace.
So he's dressed as Mr. T. I pictured him in Lois Lane's dress, but I like it if he's dressed up as Mr. T.
Either way works. Either way works. It could be.
God damn it! If we were big enough, we had people that could make us a clip of Lois Lane as Mr. T being flown. Just her with her.
They have apps for that now. We could have done that.
Just her with her head replaced as Mr. T.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to Paris, fool. Make love to me, Superman. See? He knows how to make an entrance. Oh, wait, that's Lois. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That was a line. That was a line in the movie.
There's Lex. He's got some investors. Lex is like...
Sexy Lexi.
Sexy Lexi. He collected that hair. We see him like... It's such gobbledygook BS. He's like, I got some protoplasm here. And I got Superman's hair.
The genetic material, is that part of Lex Luger?
Yes, because it has his voice, I guess.
Yeah, so it's part of Lex's DNA.
He J'd off, right?
Part of Superman's DNA. Some material for his outfit. Suction cupped.
Which Ducky says, that's not enough material, Uncle Lex. He says the computer will weave the material enough to make it for standards for us.
Yeah. So they suction cup it in a lunchbox, basically on the side of a nuclear warhead, shoot it out because they know Superman's going to catch it, put it in his fishing net, and sling it in the sun.
Yep.
And then instantly, not even 20 seconds, 4 seconds. After it goes in the sun, here comes Nuclear Man.
Pops out.
Knows how to speak English.
Maybe he is a genius. Yes, he knows how to speak English.
That Trump knows what he's talking about after all.
He's like part Lex Luthor, part Superman, because we know this because later when Superman meets him, Lex says, pay attention to the cell structure. I look familiar.
Pay attention to the cell structure, fool.
I actually shaved my head. So there's a great story about, for the first Superman, Gene Hackman had a mustache and hair, and Richard Donner, the great director, was like, listen, you can't have a mustache. Right. Lex Luthor doesn't have a mustache. And he's like, I'm not shaving my mustache. And Richard Donner, he's like, you got to shave your mustache. But before this, he knew he was going to have trouble because somebody had given him a heads up. Hackman does not want to shave the mustache. So he went to wardrobe, or went to makeup, and said, give me the best mustache you have. So he had a makeup put the best fake mustache they could put on him. So then he went to talk to Hackman. Hackman was like, I'm not doing it. And he was like, listen, I'll shave my mustache if you'll shave your mustache. That's how much I need you to shave your mustache. I love my mustache, but if you shave yours, I'll shave mine. And he talked him into shaving his
So what a jerk,
and
dude.
then, of course, took his mustache off.
Hey, that ain't a real mustache, fool.
In this movie, Hackman was like, I'm not wearing a bald cap, and I'm not shaving my head.
Right.
I got hair. Lex Luthor's got hair.
Right.
Deal with it. Because it's Canon Group. So I started this earlier. Superman 3 did not do that well. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened with the rights, but our boys at Canon were like, we got this.
Yeah,
Let's buy
yeah.
this. And this is going to be our, did I say, it's on there somewhere. It actually made money. So it did.
Well, I don't feel like we've done that in the ins and outs in a while. Like,
it's not always.
guess the budget, guess it, if how much it made.
Oh, yeah, how much? Guess it. There it is. I know it now. It's not always available. Some movies are just hard to find the budget. Whitefire, there is no budget for Whitefire. Nobody's.
Yeah, I mean, it's priceless anyway.
Yes, there's an embryo, and he's got a fingernail. Bam, Nuclear Man. Yes, Nuclear Man forms as an embryo. He's got fingernails and a gold outfit. That's pretty.
It's kind of a little Wolverine-y.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's Wolverine. His fingernails
There he is.
expand and retract. It's kind of like a cat, I guess.
Yeah. He is.
Nuclear cat man.
Nuclear cat man. Ah, look at my cat man. Nuclear cat man, I gave you life. I should have just had Skeletor there.
Yeah.
Great cut to a great workout aerobic scene.
Yes.
Everybody's working.
Clark can't get it right.
Clark can't figure it out for his life. He's hurting his back
That
just
Clark.
doing basic. God, he's such a nerd. Then he goes to do. They have workout like weight machines in the same room with people doing aerobics. So,
Right.
like people are right here doing aerobics, and then people are lifting.
That's
weights.
how you got the guys in the gym. You got the girls doing aerobics.
Then
the guys come in.
Clark, of course, breaks the machine. This guy comes over, calls him Clarky, insults him. It's the same thing. You ever notice this is a theme in Superman movies? Superman keeps getting insulted by alpha guys who think that Clark is just a nerd. So this guy's like, "Hey, Clarky, come over here. Let me show you something."
Throw some heavyweights at
Throw
him.
some heavyweights at him. It happens when Superman loses his power in Superman 2. He goes to the bar. The guys beat him up.
Because he's a nerd.
And the new remakes, Man of Steel, he goes to
I do the same thing every day. I see
He's
a
trying to
nerd, beat the crap out of him.
He's trying to defend a lady, and the guy in the bar makes fun of him and pours a drink over him. Oh, I'm gonna finish this for the radio. In every one of those instances, he gets revenge.
Yeah.
Do you not think Superman would be above? So in the new one, the guy goes outside and his semi is like tied up into 15 telephone poles that have been ran through it. In the other one, in part 2, he flies back to the bar to find the guy to beat the hell out of him with Superman strength.
Yeah.
In this one, he what happens in this one? I forgot.
Clarky.
Oh, he throws the weights at the guy. Yeah. Like he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll take this," and he's like, "No pain, no gain." Which the guy said to him, "I'm just saying." That's not Superman.
Is Superman actually a villain at heart?
He is a villain at heart because he keeps getting revenge on these people for petty shit. All right, hey, WDBX 911, thank you, Carbondale, for listening. We love you, and sleep tight unless you're studying hard or drinking. Whitefire! Check out Whitefire. We know. Good night. If you want to listen to the rest of the show, tune into YouTube or anywhere podcasts are found on 20IN21. This is episode 12? I think so.
Is it?
Of this podcast. Yep. Night, everybody.
Night.
Now we're on to the motherfucking podcast.
Yeah, now we can do stuff.
Nuclear Man.
We can say balls.
I'm a genius. I mean, I might be the smartest man ever. I created Nuclear Man. Me and him together, my brain and his brawn, we can do shit.
Mr. T could have easily been Nuclear Man.
He would have been a great Nuclear Man.
Hey, man, come here. I'm going to whoop your ass.
When Nuclear Man shows
That's
up...
a big flaw in its armor, though.
What's that?
That once the sun that's a big deal.
So here's Nuclear Man. He shows up. He's kind of got some of Superman's powers, but not. He's got internal heat.
Yeah.
Because he was forged to the sun, they say.
And 60 other nuclear weapons that were thrown into the sun along with him.
Yeah, that's right. He's got these claws
That are made out of the metal from the missiles, I would assume.
I think, yeah, you're right. And you put that together. He can fly.
Yeah.
He's got this weird outfit.
He's radioactive as all hell,
he's
but
radioactive.
only if he scrapes you.
Only if he scrapes you.
He can be around other people all the time, and there's no
He's
chance
super strong. He can manipulate people. You know what I mean? There's scenes where he's just lifting people up with his hand, like he's Magneto or something.
But Superman also does that in this movie.
He does.
And manipulate. He rebuilds the Great Wall of China.
You're right. And that's not a Superman
That's
power.
not.
At one point, this guy destroys the Great Wall of China. And by destroys, I mean there's a miniature that looks like Coppola and I made it out of Legos, and it falls apart, and then it goes back together because they just replayed it in backwards. I was like, wow.
Love you guys in canon.
That's where
we're on top of the game.
Yeah, but you're right. Superman's doing that.
Yeah, it's not a Superman power.
Makes no sense.
No.
Still better than most Marvel movies. I like to talk shit about Marvel. I just like riling people up.
Address your hate mail to
I like Marvel movies.
Eastwood Fresh
not movies. I mean, I wouldn't consider them movies. I like the Marvel things that come out sometimes. Some of them are entertaining in the same way that bad movies are entertaining. Anyway, I'm not going to get in trouble again.
Just going to unplug my mic.
Nuclear Man shows up. Lex is bragging, I'm incredible. I'm a genius. Ducky, he makes Ducky spin around because Ducky says, you're just an experiment, freako. And he makes him spin around, to which Ducky replies, "Oh, dude, this rocks. This rocks." What?
What probably would have.
Oh, we didn't get to it. His weakness, though.
Yeah.
This motherfucker's weakness. If he walks anywhere out void of sunlight,
Yeah.
he shuts down like a robot.
Yep.
Dead to the world. Just like falls over to
Which
the
is a
ground.
big. That's a big.
Go in any gymnasium, any basement, any mall, really. There's
Any house.
Any house.
Just pull the shades, dude. Just, what kind of supervillain is this? Like, that's a big deal, man.
It really is.
Like,
It's
and when
such a
Superman's
weakness.
chasing him around the Earth,
Yeah.
it's always daytime. They're in New York City. They're in L.A. They're in China.
All daylight.
All daylight.
Yeah.
Like they must be flying with the rotation. I don't know.
Well, Superman gets in a fight with him eventually, and what's great is Superman tricks him into getting into an elevator.
But it took him a couple times. He
Took him
didn't
a couple
fall for it.
times.
He didn't fall for it, Ralph.
Oh, that's right. He finally gets in the elevator.
Flies straight up through the.
Flies straight up through the ceiling, which we jumped ahead here somewhere, but it doesn't matter.
It's fine. So did Cannon.
At the double date, I don't even want to talk about the double date.
It's so
How
bad.
stupid the double date is, where Clark keeps disappearing and Superman shows back up, and then Superman disappears and Clark shows back up. There's a spot where
Did they think that was clever?
I think they did. And they hadn't watched any sitcom that had ever been written.
Right.
There's a scene where they have such a great opportunity for a Texas switch. You know what Texas switch is? It's like
Where you get your ass beat by your grandma.
go get a switch.
Go get a switch. I'm gonna beat your ass. with it.
It's like if the actor's like here running into and he runs behind something that obstructs your view.
Yeah.
There's a stuntman waiting, and then that stuntman takes over for him. You see him jump out of that obstruction, and it looks like your hero just ran and happened to pass by a pole, and then your stuntman jumps out and does something crazy.
Kind of like they do with the limo in one scene in this movie.
Exactly right. Yeah. Except they had the perfect opportunity because he ran by a pole, and it would have been much more impressive because it would have been like split second he changed his clothes. Instead, he gets in a frickin' car, and it takes at least
2 seconds, 3 seconds.
Oh, I was going to say 12 seconds for the other door to open. Like, he's Superman. He doesn't need to get in a car.
Well, it's Clark when he's getting out, though.
Well, that's true.
So he stumbles. He's a buffoon.
The whole scene was so stupid. I hated it. At one point, my wife was watching it. Was like, this is awful. Did we skip the part where he seals up a volcano?
Oh, cuts the top of a mountain off and jams it down in the volcano.
Yep, because him and
yeah, because there's no possible way that's going to build up pressure and explode even worse.
Explode even worse.
No.
Make the situation well.
That's not how volcanoes work. Pressure.
Oh man, it's all more date stuff.
Magma.
Listen, they don't really say what magma stands for anymore. They just call it maggot.
Make America great now again. But that's not right. Magma.
Listen,
I don't know.
the magnets that cause headaches, the birds. You guys want to see birds?
You
by the
realize birds
millions?
aren't real, right?
Pretty sure.
They all say made in China. In China.
We're on a giant pancake. There's a butter wall at the edge.
Science.
They said when they got to the edge of the world, it smelled like butter. Who am I to deny? Clark gets sick somehow. Oh, he gets scratched.
Yeah, it gets
Nuclear Man's
radiation
like,
poisoning.
He's like, kill Superman. Gene Hackman does it.
I'll scratch him.
And he says, but first I have fun. Which is like chasing him around. He grabs the Statue of Liberty. He tears up the Great Wall of China. He does all these things. Clark writes them. And then at one point, he just scratches. Like, never mind. He like scratches him on the neck. And it just decapitates. Like, Superman's done. He can't take it. He puts the Statue of Liberty.
He gets old looking. He starts losing his hair.
Old.
Yeah,
he gets gray-faced. His hair's all
radiation, man.
weird. He looks sick. He looks like he's straight out of the freaking Holocaust. Like, he looks awful. And then this baffled me. Hey, Kyle, you don't love superhero movies or anything like that, or comics, really. What's Superman's one weakness?
Kryptonite.
Kryptonite from his home planet, Krypton.
Right.
Well, in this movie, He
It's his
finds
power.
he finds a piece of kryptonite from his home planet, and it
It's the last remaining kryptonite from his home planet. It's all the power they've
It's
got.
all the power that's left, my son.
After this, you're on your own.
Once this is gone, the stash is empty. You'll have to grow your own.
Homegrown's better, man.
This is all that's left, my son. Take this Krypton. All of our lives, like there's even a song.
Is he Catholic?
About-
Because I always call him my son.
My son, I think you're right.
I think he's Catholic.
It would explain a lot.
Yeah.
About
It does take him, John
So,
Cryer, to a priest later.
He does. He takes.
I bet he's Catholic.
To Boys Town. He has to be Catholic.
Can you take care of this? Yes, I can.
He's
The
got that.
priest says,
He's got that.
checking his ass out.
Like,
You know how priests do.
He's like, well, let me look him over first.
He'll do. He's a little old, but
I like a little more meat on my boys.
he's a little old, but he'll do.
Yeah. Are you 18?
Oh, well, you can't come in.
He seems to know things.
Well, we figured it out.
Superman, do you
Superman
have
is
any,
actually a villain.
Superman, do you have any?
Catholic.
Do you have any that are a little soft brained? Do you have any that are perhaps looking for guidance, who feel like they need something new in their life? Just saying.
Soft-brained. I love that term.
Yeah, I don't even know what it means. It's like butterface. I just used it. You know what butterface means, Kyle?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, nice. I used it and then had to like look up if I used it properly. I was like, oh, I did. I'm not sure how it happened. Clark gives a big speech. We missed a bunch of stuff. He throws all the nuclear.
Did we, though? Did we?
He throws all the nuclear warheads, missiles, bombs into the sun.
Yeah.
That's how Nuclear Man got
In a
created.
net that just floats in space, and he just
Yes.
slides them in.
He just pushes them in. I remember being little and being like, he's gonna blow up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He's just throwing nuclear bombs into this net out in space. And I also was like, they trust him implicitly, because if he just slipped,
Yeah.
there's like a 5,000 nuclear bombs coming towards Earth.
Right.
He throws it into the sun. Nuclear Man was born. I just wanted to get that out of the way because we kind of missed it. There's also a stupid scene.
Every nuclear bomb test, he just grabs the missile and
Yes.
shoves it in this
And
net.
shoves it in this
You
net.
would think that they would, all the governments of the world would wise up and quit shooting.
Quit shooting him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
because Superman's just going to show up.
Right.
That's how Hackman gets it on there. There's a stupid scene where he's such a genius that he decides to just hit the launch button because he's in.
Yeah, he
he
trusts-
almost kills them. If the missile flies right over his head.
The guy's still in the truck.
Yes.
So the guy drives the missile out in the truck, parks it, and they're like, should we go? Yeah, it's go. No, there's a problem with the weather. And he's like, nah, 10, 9. Hits the button
hits it on
9.
like 2. Yeah. And it goes right over their heads. Apparently, it doesn't show it because they don't have the money for it. And he goes, "Missed us." I was like, "What a genius!
Yeah.
You are the Trump genius you
Yep.
proved to be." Oh yeah, Jimmy Buffett volcano. He gets scratched. Clark's sick. He goes back to Lex has got all kind of money. This is more Trump. He's like, "Guess what, boys? I'm gonna fire." He's like, "First thing I'm doing is taking over the company. Guess
I'm going to
what?
be dictator day one.
Day one, you're fired." And he fires all the guys. I was like, Trump stole everything
Yeah.
from Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah.
He fires his guys because Nuclear Man's back there. He thinks Superman's dead. Simply because Nuclear Man scratched him. And that was it. Nuclear Man is such a stupid fucking moron. He was like, "Oh, I got him. I scratched him on the neck. He looks sick. See you later."
Yep.
Superman. It's Superman.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
and-
it did almost get it. I will give him that. It did almost
If it
get
wasn't for that kryptonite.
that
this-
one
I'll
last
save you.
last crystal.
Doesn't make any sense. These people that read anything about Superman, they're like, kryptonite's part of it, right? Gives him power.
So the new fight scene.
New fight scene. Is this where they go to the moon?
This is where they go to the moon. So, okay.
Gets him in the
First of all,
elevator.
on Earth, Superman and Nuclear Man fight normally, normal speed. And in space, they fight at normal speed. And but on the moon, it's slow motion.
Slow motion. Everything is in slow motion.
I'm like, why?
Oh, we
Why?
missed a part. I have it on here, but we're having trouble with playing clips on here. where Superman, he's hurting people in the street.
Yeah.
But he's not actually hurting people. He's like making things go in reverse.
Yeah.
This movie was like, you realize we can play film backwards. So he's like throwing cops backwards. And
I
it's
wish
just
the
them
sound was
running.
like.
Right? It should be. And their cars back up. Like he's got people. At one point, he has a tornado of businessmen in the air.
Yeah, and the one guy comes out of the bus.
Yes, and I'm
he's
like,
like-
hey,
I'm
look,
like,
they're
what?
businessmen. They all have briefcases. This is great.
We must be in Metropolis.
This must be in Metropolis. He comes down. Now, this is where Chris Reeves, he only did this movie. He did the Street Smart movie with Cannon, which I think we should do. It looks fun. But so he did this movie, and only if they would do a anti-nuclear message. That's why they have this whole Jeremy
and
thing
a pro
shoehorned into it.
A pro subway message.
Yes, pro subway message, because
Despite what's happened here today, the subway is still the safest way to
travel. I got so upset, and Michelle was like, "Why did that upset you so much?" I was like, "Because in the first Superman movie, the good one, he saves a
The first two were pretty good.
the first two are good, especially if you watch the Donner cut of the second one."
Jeffrey?
Not to be a not to be a nerd about it, but yeah, the Jeffrey Dahmer cut's way better. But in the first one, he saves an airplane of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he says to them, "I don't want you to be dissuaded by this. What happened today?"
Should have been on the subway in New York.
It's like flying is still the safest form of travel that there is. It's a fun little cute moment from Superman. And this one, they were like, "Hey, I got an idea." When he's in the subway, I freaking hate any subway sequel that's just like, can we reference the other movie exactly?
Right.
God, it bothers me so much.
Yeah.
That's why I hated The Hangover 2. Like
But it's also everything.
I hated it. Now Todd Phillips is making Joker movies.
Everything that Superman says,
Fuck
things
yourself,
like that,
Todd
it's only really about America. So people in like Vietnam aren't generally concerned about subway safety. So really, it ties into the fact that his elders are saying you put no man above the other. And
true.
everyone is equal, yet he's still clearly pro-American, and Russians are bad. And
Not only that,
it's all propaganda. Superman's propaganda.
we know who he's voting for because he makes sure that American flag on the moon is standing upright.
Yep.
And we know
In that,
the only
not
people,
on the moon.
the only people that fly American
in that
flags
studio.
are anti-patriots. Isn't it? I know that's a internet point. I'm not going to bring it up. Great street fight. Elevator goes to the moon. Now, what do we know about the moon?
It's big.
What did old Pink Floyd tell us about the moon?
There's a dark side.
There's a dark side of the moon. This guy's power.
He's in the elevator. Trapped in the elevator.
Trapped in the elevator. What's his power come from? Sun.
Yeah.
If you get him out of the sun, don't have to worry about him.
Clearly, the
There's
elevator
a dark side of the moon.
had some cracks.
What do you think Superman did?
Put him on the light side.
God damn you, Superman, you fucking moron.
Comes out, piled. He just hammers Superman into the moon.
Beats the hell out of
Just
Superman in
ka-da,
slow
ka-da,
motion.
ka-da.
This also bothered me because I kept saying, like, you could throw whoever, Andre the Giant could throw me as hard as he wanted to against the moon, and my old cripple ass.
1/3 the gravity.
My old cripple ass would just be like, "Ooh, boop," and bounce off the moon.
He might get scratched
I
from a rock.
might, but there's gonna be no pain. You can't. It's like it's like body slamming somebody in a bottom of a pool.
Assuming that the moon is 1/3 gravity of, so I would weigh 100 pounds roughly, give or take 50,
Yeah,
on the moon.
yeah. I would be able to throw you very far, but you would just kind of be like, and lightly touch down. It would be a blast.
We could do a round of golf. We could hit the ball so far.
It'd be the first time.
Yeah.
Could do better than Trump did.
Did Trump play golf on the moon?
Yeah,
It wouldn't surprise me.
Oh yeah.
Him and Neil Armstrong up there.
Him and me and Neil Diamond went to the moon. George Washington, they did all the things.
Carver.
They sealed up the airports. They went to the moon.
Abraham Lincoln was like, I'm against that.
I'm the greatest black president since Lincoln. Better than Lincoln, probably.
He does say that.
He does like to say that.
Probably. That's how he gets away with this shit.
He says probably.
He says the most ridiculous shit in the world, and he just says probably. And you can't pin him to anything
deny it.
because I clearly said probably.
Speaking of Capitalist Dad, we cut back to Mariel Hemingway. We haven't talked about her. She didn't kill herself, by the way. Good for her. She quit.
Yeah.
She
Just saying.
she's still out there.
Yeah.
She quit acting. She said it wasn't good for her mental health. I'm not joking.
There you go. There
She
you go.
quit.
After this movie, she's like, I feel like killing myself. This is terrible. This is not good for my mental health. I'm going to quit acting.
A couple times.
I'm a Hemingway, so I'm filthy
I'm
rich.
going to be
anyway.
honest with you. Chris Reeves acting. Chris Reeves acting. Chris Reeves.
He kind of phoned it in a little bit.
Chris Reeves acting.
Apostrophe, yes.
Yes, apostrophe yes. Chris Reeves acting. It was so bad at points. I was like, did he already have the accident?
Right. Well, did you see the scene? Did you see the scene where he comes flying into Nuclear Man, and pow, and then he's holding his head and his neck, and I was like, holy shit! Like in the filming, did he really? Was that a precursor?
Is this real footage?
Yeah. So did
Like
he hurt
Faces
his
of
neck
Death.
filming this, and then fell off the horse, and then had a pre-existing condition, and then it really paralyzed him?
My wife did not
wife.
appreciate the joke, but I made it at least twice. I think this is post-horse accident.
Wow.
She keeps me honest. All right. Oh yeah, he's a Republican because he straightened that flag up on the moon.
Yeah.
He buries him. The capitalist dad's like, "What?"
Clearly, if he was a Democrat, he would have burned it.
He would have had one of those little half circle things hanging.
It would have been a rainbow flag.
Would have been a Subaru. Would have been a LBGQ Subaru shirt.
Doesn't Chef drive a Subaru?
He does, and he also has that LBG. I can't. Jesus Christ! I've been drinking too much. He has that sweet rainbow Subaru shirt.
Yeah.
The capitalist dad's like, "What do we got to worry about? Here comes Nuclear Man." He grabs Mariel.
Didn't Shark used to drive a Subaru?
He did
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah. I wonder if he had the shirt.
Oh, I doubt it. He only has a couple shirts.
Dr. Pepper.
He owns a Dr. Pepper shirt. He owns a black
Spinal Tap shirt.
a Spinal Tap shirt.
That
And
no one ever says anything about when he wears it.
He gets really upset. And then he had this shirt from a 1991 Bob Dylan tour from Carbondale with
The best tour
with
Dylan
with
ever
a
did.
wolf on it, and he lost it. Heart broke.
How do you lose a shirt, man?
Probably left it at a lady's house knowing him.
Probably.
He's a real tomcat.
Or in Panama. It's probably in Panama.
Probably in Panama.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'll admit it, but I watch sometimes with my wife. I watch 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah.
It's a very entertaining
That's,
show. Very entertaining
It's
show.
new information.
And there's a guy whose 90 Day Fiance is from Panama, and he reaching down.
Between my legs. He's a
He's a
seat back. I think we did that bit.
I think we did.
Yeah. It's still good though.
And he constantly is saying Panama. So anytime it comes up, Michelle and I say Panama. All right, here we go. They drop. So here we go. Superman comes back.
You want to just end this? You want to end it?
He lost the fight with Nuclear Man. He comes back again to fight him.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a nuclear
engineer.
engineer over here.
Yeah.
He drops him just in the smokestack, and he falls into what looks
into
like
a missile, maybe?
subterfuge
Yeah,
or a
yeah,
missile,
it
or
is.
it's like
And it powers the whole city.
it powers the entire world.
Is it possible to have a nuclear man
He
tower?
takes Nuclear Man. He throws him in the smokestack. Inside of the smokestack, this nuclear like a
There's just like a little door.
like the top
opens.
of a submarine. when
He
you
goes
go-
in it and the door closes.
He goes through the hole, Simpson style. It closes behind him. It seals up.
Yeah.
Is that real?
I think that would result in a nuclear accident.
Yeah.
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 What happens for this is it powers like half of Europe
Yeah. It's like Czechoslovakia or something. Yeah.
for a while.
They don't have high power demands, but they powered it all.
Yeah, some of them are like,
Somebody
"Holy
turns on the
crap,
blender, the lights dim.
We can cook our pigeon tonight.
Yeah.
we actually have some light bulbs on.
Yeah. Czechoslovakia, bro.
They're eating pigeons.
Go
over
visit.
there.
They must have
Beautiful
refilled the
place.
smokestack.
Smokestack light.
Somehow, this had to be cut. There was a subplot where the boss was trying to buy the paper back
yeah.
from the evil capitalist that took over.
Everyone
Mariel
knows as long
Hemingway's.
as you're the good guy and you're going against the big, powerful, wealthy man, that the bankers will side with you as long as you tell them, this is not the way it is.
That's right. You can't give in to these bad guys.
No.
The good guys.
Yeah, he's like, I've got like $83, but I feel like you can give me a loan and I can buy the majority shares of this newspaper, and I will then be able to lose money as the newspaper always has.
That's what we do.
Yeah,
I mean, until at least like 2007,
until
we're gonna be fine.
until we started really
You guys ever heard of this thing called online?
putting war on the news, and then that's when news lost its newsness and became.
I do like the fact that the capitalist newsman is like, we don't print the truth.
Right.
We print what people want to hear.
Right.
And like what's going to give us, what's going to sell.
Yeah.
It's all true, y'all. Wire, season 5.
A-Team season 2.
Somehow or another, the boss, the guy that we love, bought back the paper. And Clark is...
How's he going to make those payments? What happens if it's repo?
It's the worst explanation. He's like, people in this town gave some money to me.
Yeah, the bankers all sided with me. Gave me the money.
Yeah,
See?
take that. So now I have the majority shares.
Yeah.
Get out of here. And then his daughter puts on her huge glasses and says, you win some, you lose some, Dad. Daddy
Trump.
We get Clark at a conference
That's how you
as
defeat
Superman.
Trump.
And he says, it's just one world. I wish y'all could see the world as I do.
Yeah.
It's just one world.
Under God, indivisible.
That's right.
With liberty and justice for all.
Can we have the 10 Commandments?
Great album.
Can we have the 10 Commandments in front of the school, please?
And in the courthouse.
It worked wonders in Georgia. All right, Ducky and Hackman are driving. You're like, hey, what happened to Hackman? Him and Ducky are driving in a weird old car, and this is when Ducky says,
You think we're going to get away?
yeah, of course. I have no doubt about it. I'm a genius. Of course we're going to get away. And then Ducky says, I'm glad I brought my drums.
Yeah, 'cause we got to lay low for like 2 years. He's like, I'm glad
By the
I
way,
brought my drums.
his name's actually Lenny,
Yeah.
and he has Lenny
Kravitz.
written over everything. You think that's where he got it?
I think so.
The pants rip and dick fall and everything?
Yeah. I think they copied off
Nobody
each other.
talks about when Lenny like it was a hot for a second when his pants ripped open and his dick fell out. That should have been a bigger story.
Lenny in the movie or Lenny Kravitz?
Lenny in the movie, John Cryer.
Yeah.
2.5 Men.
Yeah. Huge thing.
He was playing guitar. Leather pants ripped. It happens. Hackman.
Did it ever happen to you on stage?
I only wore leather pants for a while. That was my
Sorry.
mistake.
Go ahead. Hackman.
Then I switched to chaps. Made all the difference.
That way you can't rip the crack out. It's already open.
It's already
Assless
open, baby.
chaps.
I had them. I used to have some chaps. Anyway, he takes Ducky, as we talked about, to Boys Town, gives him over to the priest,
Yep.
and he says, do you have any drums here? The priest is like, oh no, but,
Something will get drums.
I'm going to beat something.
You'll be beating things too.
I got a stick. We'll see what happens.
Come on in, my son.
He takes Hackman back to, not to like the police,
Not to the actual prison.
not to the
just to
prison,
the chain gang.
to the chain gang in the middle of the day. They got to do a bunch of processing shit. You can't just drop Hackman off in the
Right.
middle of this chain gang. He drops him off. All the prisoners
Why
are
were
like,
the police not looking for him? He broke out of prison.
you're right. It was never addressed. Never, ever came up once.
No, not. There should be new charges. He should be going back to court
Oh,
as
yeah.
Trumps usually do. There are more new charges.
new
He's
char-
broken 100 new laws, and
This is a witch hunt.
that's what Lex Luthor should have been like. It's a witch hunt. Yes.
I've done nothing wrong. I just want to change the Constitution. Hackman drops him off. All the prisoners are like, hey, it's Mozart.
Yeah. Welcome back,
Mozart's
Mozart.
back. They all start whistling the theme. And course, Hackman is like, "You're the only one that could ever keep up with me, Superman. I'm gonna miss you. How did you know? How did you figure it out?" And Superman gives him some bullshit explanation about like, "When I realized that you used the sun to build nuclear man, I also knew that the nuclear power would blah 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 blah. And if I
figured
dropped
that
in
out
this-
on the moon when I was on the bright side.
That's right. When I was on the bright side, I didn't look on the dark side because Pink Floyd told me about it. It's like, I'm going to drop him in a smokestack, Luthor. And Luthor's like, I'm a genius. And anyway, he's like, see you in 20.
See you in 20.
20 and 20.
Yep.
And then the classic Superman ending. Last time Christopher Reeve
Flies off.
into
Surveys the planet.
surveys the planet. It made me a little sad.
Yeah.
Like, I really was like, they should have stopped at 2. What a legacy if it would have made
Yeah.
2 movies and gone. But this is his last one. He
Always
flies
leave them
over.
wanting more.
My horny mom used to talk about.
Okay. Go. I'm with you.
My mom's rather old right now. It makes it funny. She loved herself some Christopher Reeve.
All women did.
And that was her favorite part of any Superman movie, was the part where he flies. The sun's coming up over the earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful shot. Here comes Superman, and he looks right in the camera.
And smiles. Gives
He
the old
gives
cheeky
you a little
grin.
twinkle in his eye, and gives a little. And he flies off. And she would always be like, it's worth the price of admission. Just to see that smile or whatever.
Yeah.
He does it for one last time, and then he flies off.
Yeah.
This movie sounds really stupid, and it is very stupid.
It's even dumber when you watch it.
I didn't mention that Lex Luthor always has some bimbos around him,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird in a PG movie. Now it's that time of the show where we get to it. Does this movie really tie the room together? It's hard to say, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say yes. It's stupid enough and just fun enough. And you can make fun of it endlessly. Anything that happens in the movie is make funnable. If that's not a word, but
Also, you could say the same thing about Pink Flamingos, and that does not tie the room together at all.
I love Pink Flamingos.
Yeah, but it doesn't tie. No, that's not this kind of.
It's not this kind of.
That's something that's kind of bad. I don't know, man. I don't.
By the way, we're gonna do a movie for Halloween, just for you, buddy. We're breaking our past 2000 rule, and we're doing a movie called The Greasy Strangler. That's right. We're gonna
Are we gonna do it?
We're gonna do Greasy
Love
Strangler.
that movie, dude.
I bring it up because I was like, this is about as close as we get to John Waters.
Yeah. It's eerily close.
Like, it's gross. Like, there's so much grossness.
Yeah, there's
in
so many
real life.
weird things that you're like,
Yeah. So we're gonna do that coming up in Halloween. I don't know the order. So we got 2 so far. We got Teen Witch, Greasy Strangler. I just forgot.
Have you watched The Greasy Strangler?
I have not.
Oh, dude,
It'll be new to me.
it is art. It is freaking.
It's
I,
like-
I fell in love with it.
It's like Napoleon Dynamite, John Waters, and us made a movie. Like, it's so bizarre. It's bizarre on every account.
It's inappropriate in
inappropriate in every way.
yeah. It's silly, but it's thought provoking in a weird way.
Every choice was a choice.
Yeah,
They didn't-
good or bad.
You know, they didn't, which I appreciate. They didn't like fall everything.
Yeah, it didn't fall into any category. It wasn't predictable in any way.
God, no.
It's
And for that, I really did salute it. I was like, every scene, I was surprised.
two of my favorite movies now are like that. Six String Samurai is similar in only the way that it happens. You know, it's so bizarre,
Especially at the time it came out.
and now The Greasy Strangler. I think they're kind of in the same vein, and that's why I like them both so
Well,
much.
we're going to break it down. Greasy Strangler. But I was going to say earlier, I started this 2 times. I haven't finished it. John Woo. John Woo, crazy director.
Woo, Pete on the rug, man.
Woo. Not the preferred nomenclature, dude. John Woo kind of made broke through with a movie called The Killer. Great action, hitman, bloody, gun fu. He created gun fu with that movie. There's been a remake in the works basically since that came out because it was a foreign film. it just got made by John Woo. I love the fact it's gone through so many good directors and actors. Like, you couldn't believe the amount of people that went through this movie. And eventually, John Woo was like, if they're going to remake my movie, fuck it, I'm going to do it myself.
Right.
And a lot of people say it's a shot-for-shot remake. It is not at all.
It's kind of like us with Beastmaster. We did it and then we remade it.
That's right.
We're very similar to John Woo.
Very similar to John Woo. If we had pigeons flying up for no reason in the middle of scenes, slow motion. I watched the new Killer, which is on Peacock. It's called The Killer, and it's a lady instead of a guy, and it's in English. I watched it
Instead of Swahili.
and Waylon Jennings walked out, and I watched it. I had a great time watching it. It made me miss John Woo movies. It made me miss the action of the 90s and early 2000s of like the Nick Cage, John Woo, just slow motion, gung fu, things exploding all on the screen, birds flying out for no reason, slow motion. It made me really miss it. And so then I was like, all right, I need to go back and rewatch the original from the 90s that I remember, The Killer. So I rewatched that one. Guess what? I'm so in the majority or minority. I love the new one. I thought it kicked the ass of the old one. And I love the old one. I love it. But I was like, oh no, this new one's more fun. Way more fun than the old one. So check out The Killer if you got the cock. If you subscribe to the cock. Yes, this movie Tie the Room. I better get out of here. I'm getting real Beastmaster vibes where we're going to lose this.
Yeah. Lightning. We're done.
Going to strike at any moment.
I'm not redoing this one.
No.
Beastmaster is worth it. This one,
Yeah,
no.
White Fire. I would do.
Yeah, White Fire.
White Fire. Still hooked on it. All right, but yeah, I would say watch this one if you haven't seen this movie. It is worth watching just because of the pile of shit that it is.
Yeah, it's pretty garbage.
But however, we got to do 3 at some point. Richard Pryor has so much meat of the movie, and he's just. They were like, "Hey,
Loaded."
They're like,
he's just snorted the first baseline in a
Every scene is
in a ballpark.
Is him being like, "Oh man, I don't know, I go to prison, man. Like a guard, they get your butt.
I'm not with them
in your butthole, but hey, I'm over here now, and like that."
Yeah.
So, all right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Kyle, you got any other information for us over there on Superman 4 Quest for Peace? Did you find anything interesting before we go?
One thing I thought was interesting, and I think you touched on this earlier, was that Christopher Reeve was passionate about using the film to promote nuclear disarmament.
Yeah.
And he wrote a letter to the United Nations, a personal letter.
He
which
was
is
Jeremy.
incorporated-
Yeah.
Is incorporated into the film. They say, well, this is what he had to say later about the film. Christopher Reeve in his memoir.
He was a little.
Superman 4 was a catastrophe from start to finish. The failure was a huge blow to my career.
Oh.
The less I say about Superman 4, the better.
Oh.
He said that kind of stiff, didn't he?
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. Going in, he had a different.
They say I shouldn't put the horse before the cart.
And he should have said, "I should have never slammed right into that guy head first." Because that really hurt. And I think it had something to do with a later tragedy. Dude, you could see real pain though in that shot. Like he was like that was him.
Doctors say if I hadn't jarred my neck into Nuclear Man, I might have survived.
I might have survived the horse fall.
I don't know if I'll watch this one.
Horse fall. Horse fall sounds like it's a thing. Horse fall. Horse fall.
Jesus, we're going to hell. If there is one, we're burning.
I'm gonna go to hell when I die. I'm gonna go to hell. Conan used to sing.
We're
that.
not drinking gin on this show ever again.
We're not. I love it.
We'll stick to bourbon.
Was that first?
No.
We had gin before.
Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. Kyle, you're not gonna watch it though.
No,
Intern
I'll
Kyle?
watch White Fire twice.
White fire! White fire!
White fire.
If you didn't grow up watching these Christopher Reeve as Superman.
Yeah,
I could see why this would be slow as
Yeah.
shit to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see you being
it's
like,
definitely
what
it's
the
our
fuck?
generational
Yeah.
cross that we have to bear.
Yeah. All right, Nuclear Man. By the way, Mark Pillow, one other movie, the rest of his career. So I hope you had
How
a good
much
one.
better that would that have been as Mr. T though?
Oh, it would have been so cool if that was Mr. T. Chains on.
Yeah.
Kill Superman.
Just gold kryptonite.
Hey, I thought this was going to hurt you. Turns out it helps you, I
Hey,
guess.
what's going on?
This is confusing.
Man, quit flying. You know I hate it. I'm supposed to chase you.
God damn it, I hate flying. Don't make me jump.
Just
jump here.
bitching about flying the whole time.
Entire time.
Man, I hate this. I'm so high.
God damn it, I can't look down. Uh-oh. Getting sick.
Are we there yet? Superman, we there yet? What we gonna fight, man?
Just land your super ass down so we can fight.
That would have been great.
Mr. T should have been in this movie.
He should be in every movie. I'm telling
We
you.
didn't figure out who the dude was in this movie or any of that, but
How good would Mr. T been in Goonies? For fuck's sake.
Goonies as,
Yeah.
as Slaw?
Rocky Road,
I thought you were going to say it.
Baby Ruth. Could have been.
I've been ruined by Teen Titans Go for the Goonies because they have a character named Freak
Hey, you guys.
who's basically him. Hey, all right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We're really going to get out of here.
Ended the show like five
Times. We're like the Lord of the Rings Part 3. Gonna watch that new Lord of the Rings. I'm not gonna start. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yep.
Love yous. Thanks
Bye-bye.
for watching. See yous.
Hey, man.
Hey,
Why you gotta fly so high, man? Come on, this ain't funny.
you hobbits better not put me on no dragon. Hey, wizard, don't put me on no eagle. I don't care if it's
Get out of Shire, Lebowski.
get out of Middle Earth, Lebowski. We don't want your gold bricking ass in the Shire.